Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into a topic, well, a book really, that hasn't just captured attention globally, it's become this huge cultural phenomenon, particularly on social media.
Absolutely. It sparks so many conversations, often really intense ones.
We're talking about a story with this incredible journey, from page to screen.
And that story is It Ends With Us, the novel by Colleen Hoover, which first came out August 2, 2016.
Right.
And we should say up front, it dives deep into some really tough themes. Domestic violence, emotional abuse. It handles them with this kind of raw honesty.
Yeah, it really does. So our mission today is to unpack how this story, which is so personal and deals with such difficult truths, managed to connect with, millions of people.
And how it got this second life, this massive surge in popularity years after it was first published. It's fascinating.
Totally. So we'll explore the story itself, the inspiration behind it, that surprising comeback, and of course, its journey to film. We've dug into sources like its Wikipedia entry to get a really comprehensive picture for you.
Okay, so where do we start? With Lily.
Exactly. We have to start with Lily Bloom. She's, 23, moves to Boston, wants to open a flower shop. Sounds hopeful.
But her past is complicated.
Yeah.
There's a lot of trauma there, specifically around her parents.
Yeah, massive resentment towards her late father, Andrew, because he was physically abusive to her mother, Jenny, and, also resentment towards her mom for staying. And there's that detail from her father's funeral. It's just chilling. She says she'll list 5 things she loved about him.
And then she just can't. Stands there in silence and walks off.
Wow. Yeah, that says so much about the weight she's carrying right from the beginning.
And then, into this complicated life, walk 2 very important men.
Right. First, there's Atlas Corrigan, her first love from her childhood.
He left for the military, but promised he'd come back for her. Sort of the one that got away, initially.
And then there's Ryle Kincaid. He seems like the opposite, almost. He's older, 30, a neurosurgeon, very driven, very charming.
Definitely charming. And there's this instant spark between him and Lily. It develops pretty quickly, even though Ryle says, he's not really interested in commitment at first.
Okay, but things take a turn, don't they? Those moments in the relationship, they're really unsettling.
Yeah, the first really big red flag incident, Ryle drops a casserole, accidentally. Lily laughs.
A natural reaction, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
But he gets furious and slaps her.
Yeah.
Hard.
Oh, and for Lily, that must have been terrifying because of her parents.
Exactly. It's her worst nightmare coming true. She sees her father in him, sees her mother in herself. It's horrifying for her.
But she forgives him.
She does. But she warns him very clearly that if it ever happens again, she's gone. It's a line in the sand. But it's a line that gets crossed again.
And then, just as things are getting rocky, Atlas comes back into the picture. Like, literally walks back in.
Right. In a pretty dramatic way. Lily and Ryle are out for dinner.
And the owner and head chef of the restaurant is Atlas.
Yep. Talk about awkward. And Ryle's jealousy flares up instantly, even though Lily's like, no, he's just an old friend.
But Atlas isn't fooled, is he? He sees something.
He does.
Yeah.
He notices Lily has a bruised eye, Ryle has a bandaged hand. He immediately suspects Ryle is hurting her.
So he confronts her.
Yeah, pulls her aside in the bathroom, basically begs her to leave Ryle.
Yeah.
Which, leads to a fight between Atlas and Ryle right there in the restaurant.
Oh, wow.
Atlas gets thrown out, but not before he manages to slip Lily his phone number. Like a lifeline.
A lifeline she'll definitely need, because things escalate pretty fast after that.
They do. Lily and Ryle kind of impulsively get married in Vegas.
Vegas wedding. Okay.
But the marriage is rocky from the start. Ryle finds Atlas's number.
Oh, no.
And he pushes her down the stairs.
Down the stairs. That's terrifying.
It is. And after that incident, Ryle confesses something from his past, a huge trauma. He says he accidentally shot and killed his younger brother, Emerson, when they were kids. And he frames this as the source of his uncontrollable rage.
Wow. Okay, so he's trying to explain the violence. Does Lily buy it? Does she forgive him again?
She does forgive it. It's complex, right? She's grappling with his trauma, her feelings, maybe hoping things will change now that this is out in the open.
But they don't change.
No. The cycle continues. The absolute worst incident comes when Ryle finds Lily's old childhood diaries.
Diaries where she wrote about Atlas.
Exactly. He reads them, feels betrayed, and in a rage, he attacks her. He tries to rape her. And when she fights back, he hits her so hard he knocks her unconscious.
Oh, my God.
When she wakes up, she knows she has to get out. She calls Atlas.
Thank God for that phone number.
Right. He takes her straight to the hospital. And that's where she finds out something else.
She's pregnant.
Yes. Pregnant with Ryle's child, which makes everything even more complicated. She keeps it a secret from Ryle initially.
Where does she go? Does she stay with Atlas?
Temporarily. She stays with Atlas while Ryle is away in England for a bit. He gives her some breathing room. Eventually, she moves back to their apartment, but Ryle isn't there.
And during this time, does she talk to her mom?
Yes, and this is crucial. She has this really honest conversation with Jenny, her mother, and her mom finally urges her to leave Ryle. Says, don't make the same mistakes I did, break the cycle.
That must have been incredibly powerful for Lily to hear.
Absolutely. A real turning point. And then her daughter is born.
She names her Emerson after Ryle's late brother.
Yes. And holding her daughter, Lily has this moment of absolute clarity. She realizes she cannot let her child grow up witnessing Ryle's rage, his violence. She can't repeat the pattern.
So she asks for a divorce.
She does. Ryle, initially, doesn't want to. He begs her to reconsider.
But something changes his mind.
Lily asks him a question, a devastating question. She asks, how would he feel if their daughter, Emerson, grew up and had a partner who treated her the way Ryle treated Lily? And that finally gets through to him. He understands. He agrees to the divorce.
And that's where the title comes in, right?
Exactly. Lily tells her infant daughter, it ends with us, meaning this cycle of abuse in their family. It's such a powerful, hopeful moment amidst all the pain.
So incredibly moving. And the epilogue gives us a glimpse of the future.
It does. We see Lily co-parenting Emerson with Ryle, finding a way to manage that relationship. And she eventually reconnects with Atlas. They start building a relationship again.
A sense of closure, maybe? Or a new beginning?
A bit of both, I think. A hard-earned peace.
Okay, so understanding Lily's journey, the rawness of it, it makes the book's origin story even more poignant. This is where it gets really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Colleen Hoover has been very open about the fact that It Ends With Us was inspired by her own mother's experience, her relationship with her father.
She called it the hardest book I've ever written. You can absolutely see why.
Definitely. And that personal connection, that raw honesty, feeds into this interesting discussion about how the book is categorized.
Right, because despite dealing so heavily with domestic violence, it's marketed and shelved primarily as a romance novel.
Yeah, the publisher's description focuses on, a workaholic with a too-good-to-be-true romance who can't stop thinking about her first love, which is part of the story, but maybe not the core.
It does spark a debate, doesn't it? Like, is that helpful, putting it in romance? Does it bring more readers to these important themes, or does it maybe mislead people about what they're getting into?
It's a really valid question, and the book's enduring power is clear, even leading to a special collector's edition back in April 2023.
Oh, yeah. What was special about that?
It had some nice physical features like foil in the jacket and binding, new end papers. But the really significant part was a new Q&A between Colleen Hoover and her mother.
Wow, adding even more depth to that personal connection.
Exactly.
So the book did well initially, right? Even before the huge explosion later on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. By 2019, it had already sold over 1 million copies globally, translated into more than 20 languages. Solid success.
But then 2021 happened. And TikTok.
And everything changed. The resurgence was massive, almost entirely fueled by the #BookTalk community on TikTok.
It has over 1 billion tags now, is that right? Just incredible.
It really is. And what's fascinating is how organic it felt. It wasn't some big marketing push initially. It was readers sharing their raw emotional reactions.
Crying on camera, talking about how much it affected them.
Exactly. That vulnerability, that shared experience in the #BookTalk space, it created this huge wave of empathy and interest that just amplified the book's reach exponentially, years after publication.
It's a pretty amazing example of how these online communities can just reshape a book's trajectory.
Completely. And the sales charts reflected that surge dramatically.
It hit #1 on the New York Times bestseller list, right? Combined fiction list.
Yeah, January 2022. And then it became the #1 best-selling novel overall for that entire year.
Selling how many copies?
Nearly 2.7 million copies in 2022 alone. And then it did it again. It was the #1 bestseller of 2023 as well, selling almost another 1.3 million copies. Just staggering numbers.
And it wasn't just sales. The critical acclaim was there too, wasn't it? Even early on.
Absolutely. Kirkus Reviews gave it a star review, praised its compassion and honesty, how it showed the devastation of abuse, but also the strength of the survivors.
Romantic Times also had positive things to say.
Yeah, they highlighted Hoover's skill in weaving together these different threads, the uplifting parts, the romantic parts, but also the really somber, difficult plot lines. And they specifically pointed out Lily's strength.
And it won the Goodreads Choice Award for Best Romance back in 2016.
Right, so even before the book talk phenomenon, readers were connecting with it powerfully. It had that foundation.
Okay, so the story didn't just end there. There's a sequel.
Yes, it starts with Us, which came out in October 2022. It picks up right after, it ends with Us, finishes, and focuses more on Lily and Atlas's relationship moving forward.
Giving fans more of that hopeful side of the story.
Exactly. There was also, well, a bit of controversy around another related project.
Yes, the coloring book? That didn't go over so well, did it?
No, not at all. Hoover announced it in January 2023, based on the book.
A coloring book
Yeah.
based on this book.
Yeah. And the backlash was immediate and pretty intense. Readers felt it was incredibly tone-deaf given the serious subject matter.
I can see that. Trying to turn themes of domestic violence into coloring pages, it feels wrong.
Many people felt it trivialized the trauma. Hoover canceled it literally the next day.
Did she comment on why?
She did. She released a statement saying the coloring book was meant to focus on Lily's strength, but she acknowledged, I can absolutely see how this was tone-deaf. It showed how deeply readers connected with the book's core message, how protective they were of it.
Definitely. Okay, and then there's the movie. That was a big deal.
Huge deal. It was actually optioned way back in July 2019 by Justin Baldoni.
And he ended up starring in it too, right? As Ryle. And directing.
You did. A triple threat. Blake Lively was cast as Lily Bloom, which got a lot of buzz.
Yeah, great casting. And Atlas.
Brandon Sklenar played Atlas. Christy Hall wrote the screenplay. They started filming in New Jersey in May 2023.
And it finally came out when?
August 9, 2024. Just recently.
How was it received? Critically.
Reviews were mixed. Critics were a bit divided on it. Some liked it. Others felt it maybe didn't capture the book's nuance fully.
And financially, box office-wise.
Oh, it was a massive success financially. It made something like $351 million worldwide.
Wow. On what kind of budget?
Only about $25 million. So a huge return.
Incredible. And did the movie boost the book sales again?
Absolutely. When the trailer dropped, and then when the movie came out, the novel shot right back up to #1 on Amazon and the New York Times list again in August 2024. It just keeps resonating.
It really does. So, wrapping this all up, what does it all mean? We've gone from this deeply personal story born from the author's own family history.
Through this really powerful, often difficult narrative about survival and breaking cycles.
To its absolutely astonishing cultural impact driven by word of mouth by these online communities like #BookTalk. It's quite a journey.
It really is. And I think the key things to take away are, first, the book's willingness to portray domestic abuse so unflinchingly. Second, the focus on the survivor's strength, Lily's strength.
Mm-hmm.
And third, just how complex that journey of breaking free from abusive cycles really is. It shows how a story rooted in such personal pain can connect with millions globally, touching on these really tough, important themes. The power of storytelling right there.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What does the massive ongoing popularity of It Ends With Us tell us about maybe our collective conversation around domestic violence, or maybe our willingness to engage with it?
That's a great question. How do stories like Lily's, these fictional narratives, how do they actually shape public awareness? Do they help foster empathy?
Yeah, do they encourage us to have those difficult, crucial dialogues in our own lives? Something definitely worth thinking about.